So this is going to be funny to read now, because this is like relevant to David Lammy taking it with the juries, and the whole point of like using his Magna Carta force still in clause, but they still repealed some of the other charters which say they're meant to be perpetually in effect, right? Because apparently they're out of date. Why didn't they shape the law around them so they didn't need changing? There can't be that many things that they affect, because, only to do really with the king's lands and hunting and privileges and a bit of justice in there and some other peculiar weird things like, the right to roll a turnip down the middle of the street at midnight and stuff like that, right? But, joking aside, right, look, Statute Law Revision Bill, this was 1948, right? So this is around the time when Queen Elizabeth is just about to get put on the throne, or around that time. And maybe there was a lot of drug taking going on, from the war, too many amphetamine popper pills taken by military MPs, I don't know, right? Something like that. But this is funny, right? Get this, right? This is what we're dealing with in the House of Lords, right? The Solicitor General, Sir Frank Suskis, right? I beg to move that the bill be now read a second time. This bill has been prepared as a result of recommendations which were made by the Statute Law Committee. So this is all down to the Statute Law Committee. They got a committee on Statute Law. Now, this is an I just read this bit. I haven't read it all because I just want to make the note now. This is an absolute corker, this, right? Listen to this, right? The object of the bill, right, as of all Statute Law Revision Bills. They've got some other ones. They've had some other Statute Law Revision Bills, right? They've had other Statute Law Revision Bills, right? This is 1948. The object of this bill, as it is with all Statute Law Revision Bills. There's some more. There's more. Wait a minute. There's more, right? Is to eliminate statutes which have become obsolete, right? Well, so you say so. Well, you made them obsolete because you come up with loads of laws to give an excuse to make them obsolete, right? If they're not relevant anymore, or they're not doing any damage, what's wrong with having them ticking over in the background, right? So that the whole point is that they can't be repealed because it's going to be the Constitution of England, right? But anyway, right? Is to eliminate statutes which have become obsolete, or which we're going to make obsolete when we put legislation through, right? Because clear out the attic or whatever, and there's no skeletons in the closet, right? With the object of bringing the statutes book in general to up to date, right? They're going to bring it up to date. Therefore, right now, here's what it says. The purpose, that's of this bill now, is to publish in due course a new edition of the revised statutes. A new edition of the revised statutes, you've been doing loads of, apparently, according to them, they've been doing loads of statute revision, as with all statute revision bills, right? If they've been doing loads of statute revision bills, why aren't they already up to date with it, right? If they've been doing loads of statute revision bills, why aren't they fully up to date with it? So they can't have been doing that many because they won't have been up to date with it. They would have been up to date with it. I mean, the purpose is to publish in due course a new edition of the revised statutes. Right, here we go. This is the belter part. Listen to this, right? The bill covers the centuries from 1235 to 1800. But if they've been doing statute revision, and they've even got a committee for it, as with all statute revisions, right? They ain't been doing much revision. If in 1948 they're doing 1235 to 1800, right? Because there's not much before 1800, is there? We didn't get conquered till 1066, right? 1066 to 1235. That's only 10, 11, 12. That's less than 200 years, right? So you can't tell me that through all these other previous statute bills and revisions that have been done up till 1948, by the way, they've had the whole 18 and 1900s to do it, right? They haven't even done the revisions up to 1285, and there weren't as many laws back then. Remember, there were a lot less laws to do back then than there are now. In the 1800s, they were knocking legislation out like there's no tomorrow, right? 1235, they weren't even putting that many laws through at that time, right? From 1235 all the way to 1800, that is a hop, a skip, and a jump, right? If I ever saw one. We've got a Statute Revision Committee, and, as with all Statute Revision, we better keep up to date now. Let's have a look. Where are we up to? 1235 all the way up to 1800, right? We might as well, we're done up to 1948, but, haven't you already done up to 1800, and now you're doing, from 1800 to 1900, or even from 1900 to 1948? Oh, no, we're doing from 1285 to 1800, literally the entire history of England since we were conquered. We're just doing, pretty much the entire history of England until we were conquered now. And by the way, we'll just slip a couple of, we'll just sneak a couple of, there's nothing to see here, nothing going on here. I will just slip the Magna Carta in there, and the Great Charter of the Forest, we'll just slip those in there, nothing going on here, just slip those in. It's exactly like they're doing now, like with the assisted dying bill, right? Look, here's a compatibility of a declaration of compatibility with the EU Convention rights. Nothing to see here, I'll fill it in with a load of tosh, and then, there's a little paragraph there. Oh, no, yes, and, let's not forget let's not forget the right to life, Article 2, better not forget that one, because it's the fucking article that says we can't even make this fucking assisted dying bill, and that it isn't compatible. But we better include that in there, bury it in there, someone, bury it in the whole, document or whatever, right? It says you can't do it. That's all right, I was just repealing a couple of statutes, got to keep up to date, We've been, knocking a few acts out, doing a few statute repeal updates now and again. We've got a committee for it. I'll tell you what, we'll do from 1285 to 1800. It's not like the fucking entire history of England, not the entire fucking history of England. We've been really busy doing statute repeals. Not, is there any fucking acts to, 1235, so there's not much, not much going on back then, we've been conquered. A couple of Justices of the Peace Acts, observation of due process of law, Magna Carta, just one or two, laws, we better get up to date. How are we doing? How well we're doing, Where are we up to? We're up to 1235 now, so, just one or two we've brought up to date. No, actually, you've done sweet FA, nothing, right? This is bollocks. 1235 to 1800, all right, there's a chunk of history, it's like suddenly we've been doing, those are past statute repeals we've been up to date, what? What is this, tiddlywinks? It's like snakes and ladders, isn't it? Hop, skip and a jump. Oh, we've been doing loads of previous Statute Revision and repeals. We've got a committee for it. Well, all those other ones. Fucking, what is it, rolling a dice and rolling a one? Oh, one. I've got a one now. Roll it again. Oh, we've got another one. Oh, look. Let's try again. Oh, I rolled a six. Fuck me. Now we're doing from 1235 to 1800, he's Chunker in the chocolate bar. We'll do all of it now. Oh, why didn't you do fucking all of it last time? You got to commit in, knocking him out like no tomorrow. This time, make the cookie crumble, there's someone's rolling dough there with a rolling pin. Oh, what's going on here? I'm baking a cake. What's this? What's this? A little stone in my shoe, So this is Magna. Oh, don't worry about that. There's nothing to see, Princess and the Pea, isn't it? Oh, that's our Magna Carta. Magna Carta and the Charter of the Forests, to be kept in perpetuality, can never be repealed, and be to upheld on every point, is the foundational, founding documents of the English Constitution in England. No, there's a stone image. No, nothing to see here. no stones in my cooking dough, no stone in my shoe, like, it's no sweat, we're just playing hopscotch, well, we've been knocking a few of these statute revisions out in the past, one or two. What is it like, roll the one a couple of times, and I'll just roll the fucking six. We'll take the whole. How much you want? How much will how much of this shall we take? It's like we'll do the whole 1235 to 1800. 1948. Why miss? Well, we'll do the entire. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. The entire history of England, except the first 100 years and the latest 100 years. Like, well, it's like trim. Trim your law, trim your entire history of England. Well, like shave a couple of 100 years off the front and shave 100 years off the back, and then like pretty much everything in the fucking middle, right? You've got to be taking the piss out of us. And contains 24 volumes, the law down to 1920, and then there are 31 volumes in addition of the Public and General Acts passed since 1920. In other words, if Magna Carta was that incompatible, so they're saying that Magna Carta and the Charter of the Forest was all right up till 1948. Well, it done quite well, really, to survive modern history. The invention of the motor car. I mean, they're just 1948. Did they even have television? I might have to, I can't remember. I don't know the date the television was invented, but they're not far off, right? I don't think they've got helicopters of the 1948, but they're not far off. It's, are they not necessitated to get rid of the king's hunting lodges or whatever it is, or forest animals and creatures? The swans are the Queen's property and all that. I guess I'm going to have to read all of this to make an informed. Tell you what, right? Let's type in. Let's see if they mention. Let's see if they even mention it now. Right. This is going to be a good debate if it doesn't mention Magna Carta. Oh, nothing to see here. Oh, bloody hell. Look at that. Nothing to see here. Forest Charter. Anything great? A great many have been repealed. This great support. Absolutely scandalous. Look at this. Magna. Nothing to see here. Carter and Charter of Liberties. Damn. Sweet Jesus. Unbelievable. So there won't be anything, This index to history. I'm very much impressed indeed by what my right honourable learned friend has said about the phenomenal industry and learning of Sir Cecil Carr. Do we even need to read all this? I would first ask, and the Solicitor General, if he wishes, may regard this merely as rhetorical, although it is a serious and practical question. When is a law alive and when is it dead? What makes a law live and what makes it dead? Surely it depends on whether the state keeps it alive. If the state does not keep it alive, it is dead. Well, it's like assisted dying. They're talking about assisted. This is like the assisted dying bill, isn't it? But they're not killing people here. They're killing the Constitution, killing the legislation. I think this is corrupt and scandalous. If you look at that that libel act, it says that you're not allowed to make unlawful attacks on the Constitution, right? But they actually made that so it only applies to Northern Ireland. look at this. It depends on whether the state keeps it alive. When is a law alive and when is it dead? This is question. Absolutely. Scandalous. This was in the Commons anyway, not the Lords. Mr. Speaker, so then also making a suggestion we're not discussing rates in particular law. That would be out of order in the second reading of the bill. I think it's like a tradition to see how they can massacre the. It's like some sort of competition, isn't it? Constitution. The word constitution is not even mentioned in this discussion. Or Magna Carta. Anyone who has had the pleasure and privilege of working on the Statutory Rules and Orders Committee or the Unopposed Bills Committee will know how very much this House relies on these committees and his advice and guidance. Did anyone really know what the hell was going on in 1948? Did anyone really know what they were up to? Or keep up to date with what Parliament are proposing or doing? Did the people in the university even object? I think the whole House will agree with the Right Honourable and Learned Solicitor General in the desire to remove dead wood. And there are many dead wood acts I would like to see removed. Dead wood. What's the point in having something like saying that we've got a constitution or we've got like a history or whatever if they're not going to take it seriously? What's the point in the ceremony and the speaker, petitioning the for the rights and liberties and so forth? If it ain't going to actually be the actual thing that it says it's going to be, It is, of course, a rule of English law that the statute is not abrogated by mere desuade or non-enforcement. The remarks I want to make on the second reading of this bill arise from these comments, and I want to deal with the contents of some of the schedules. I would first ask, and the General Fee wishes may regard this merely as rhetorical, some serious political question. Oh, we've read that. That the holy keeping of the Lord's Day is a principal part of the true service to God, which in very many places of this realm has been and now is profaned and neglected by a disorderly sort of people in exercising and frequently bear baiting. There aren't any bears left. Consider whether such frauds are committed by tenants. An act to attaint James Duke of Monmouth of high treason. Yeah, we're not going to get... I don't think we're going to get much out of them because they're not mentioning the actual... They're not mentioning the exact title in the word honour. They're doing an assisted dying act, an assisted dying bill special on us, like, you know, kind of like, you know, like filling it in with jargon around the point that, you know, oh, like, you know, I think that this whole thing, if a lot of these like are unnecessary and not needed, but don't really affect anything adversely or immediately. The thing is, right, this is the thing, like, when they make a specific act of law and there's a particular conflict with another act, supposedly, that's why it has the repeals in the act, right? So if you've got, like, you know, an act to do with employment and there's an old law which is in conflict, you, in that schedule, in the updates, you amend or repeal the conflicting act or unnecessary act in the law that you're doing, right, as you're going along. So there shouldn't really be any incompatible laws left or any laws which are wrong, like, you know, when they're doing the Criminal Law Act 1967 or whatever and things like that, which actually is kind of relevant to the Great Charters as well, which I didn't mention because I'm talking about this 1948 Act, but that 1967 Criminal Law Act is the other one, right? If in ever when you make a brand new act of law and the previous laws, which, like, you know, you put a new VAT value-added tax act into effect, and provisions of the older one are not relevant or they're in conflict, then you remove them with a new act, right? So why do they need to do this Statute Law Revision Act in 1948? You know, it seems like, yeah, well, we've been knocking around with a few statute revisions here and there, blah, 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 and then, like, oh, that suddenly hop, skip, jump. Oh, like, we'll do the whole lot now, right? And then, oh, dum-de-dum-de-dum. Well, it's like, what's that in your pocket? Oh, a little pebble. You know, what's this, like, pebble millet one? Look, oh, look, it's like, you know, like, sort through the, you know, like, it's like fill your boots. It's like, you know, fill up, you know, like fill your, it's like going through the airport scanner, isn't it? You know, like with a suitcase at the airport, like, you know, through the infrared scanner. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's just a suitcase full of luggage, or like go for beep, beep, beep. Oh, the alarm's going off. What's that? Oh, there's nothing. It's just like Magna Carta, the confirmation of the charters and the Charter of the Forest, right? Yeah, but, you know, like, you're not supposed to have those in there. It's like going through the airport scanner, isn't it? Like an unauthorized item, you know. So when you go through the airport and they're scanning your suitcase and there's, like, you know, a pair of socks, a bar of soap, 3 shirts, a pair of shoes, a pair of trousers. No, there's like an AK-47 there, you know, live ammunition and a pack of Semtex, right? What's that? Oh, we're just repealing a few statute laws and the revision bill that, you know, aren't really that relevant. Oh, what's that then? Oh, it's just Magna Carta and, you know, Charter of the Forests and the confirmation of the charters. You know, like, nothing to see here, you know, it's like buried in my shoe, you know, like in 007, like when he pulls his heel back, you know, like he pulls the heel back and there's like beep, 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 beep. It's like the fucking tracking thing in the heel of the shoe, like beep, beep. What's that? Oh, nothing to see here, you know. It's like, you know, it's like Chris Packham, isn't it? You know, like, it's like just a little statute revision bill that we were knocking out, you know, getting a lot of those statute laws. Oh, look, all these laws. There's all these laws we've got to sort out, you know, all these statutes. Let's have a look at them. So look at this. This is a bit of writing. Look at this, like 1, 2 pages, 3 page. Oh, that's it. Look, well, this is an interesting act. Look, we've got lots to say about why we're repealing these. Look, 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages. Oh, that's it. How many paragraphs are there? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There's about 20 paragraphs, right? Just over 3 pages, right? That's it. We've got a lot. There was a lot to say about these statute laws that we're repealing now because they're all obsolete and unrequired. But we've got a lot to say about that. We're like 3 pages worth. And then, oh look, how many more pages is left? 108 fucking pages, right? Look at this. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here, right? You know, oh look, like we're on page 4 now. How many more pages are there? 108. Oh look, here they are. Here we go now. Look, all these laws are getting repealed. Why is that then? Oh, you know, we're just going knocking through the old statute book, you know, knocking a few skeletons out of the closet, and a few cobwebs out of the wardrobes, you know, all these acts that aren't really doing anything, just ticking over, you know, like, you know, they're not really affecting anything adversely, seeing that, like, it's the constitutional foundation of the whole fucking country, right, you know, and not supposed to be repealed or, you know, they're supposed to last in perpetuality. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Look at all these statute laws, you know, like, oh yeah, we're just doing like, well, we're only doing, you know, from, you know, 12, 1300 to 1800, you know, it's not like the entire history of fucking England. We're just like cleaning it out now, you know, look at all these. What you got to say about that then? Got anything to say about these? Nah, nothing really significant to say about it. Just a list, really. Like listing it on Red Dwarf. It's like Red Dwarf, what's the Magna Carta? It's like Red Dwarf. Dun 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 dun. Rimmer. Look at these. Look at this. Like nothing to say about. Oh, you got anything to say about all these acts? You know, anything to say why you're repealing any of these specific acts? You know, nothing to see here. Anything to say about that? 108 pages of repealed statutes, right? And absolutely nothing to fucking say about it. Can you believe that? 3 pages. Whereas it's expedient for certain enactments which might be regarded as spent or have ceased to be enforced otherwise than express specific repeal of Parliament, unless it is explicit directions that you can't repeal it, right? It's got absolutely no explanation. Nothing in that debate either. And check this out. Statute Law Revision Bill in 1948 also debated, right? Look at this. Oh, oh, look at this now. Like two comments. Look at this. They've actually got something to say about it on the 11th of May as well. Mr. Palmer, by the way, this is not Geoffrey Palmer, the illegal Attorney General. This is not Geoffrey Palmer, the illegal Attorney General, you know, from subsequently following the Civil War. This is Mr. Palmer, not Mr. Geoffrey Palmer. Ask the Attorney General if it is proposed to introduce the Statute Law Revision Bill, which was draft before the recent war. Yes, it is hoped shortly to introduce this bill, which covers the period down to 1800. Well, down to 1800, the entire period of history up to 1800 on, like, well, what have you been doing in those other previous revisions? This and that, you know. Just scandalous, isn't it?